It's not live on mine yet. Morning. Morning. Come on, Kev. Come on. At least it's not end of an era.
Go on, Howard, I'll let you go first, mate.
Me personally, I'm doing all right, Kev. Doing all right. It's been a bit busy week this week with an uptake of people wanting to go and view properties, which that might come on the back of what you were saying there about getting nearer to this undoing of the lockdown come Monday. Let's just hope we don't go into this lockdown 4 we've heard rumours about this morning. But in positive ways, yeah, people are wanting to go and view all the time, and and a lot of people, when they're speaking about going out viewing, it's up to me actually to remind them about
it is,
the rules and the COVID rules about, giving the windows open, distance apart, and to wear masks. A lot of people actually that I've been speaking to this week, they go, oh yeah, do we still have to wear masks? I think a lot of the people are in the thoughts of that it's already been knocked to one side. So yeah,
no.
Are you finding that the same there?
The most common thing I'm getting is, oh, it's okay, I've had my vaccine, right? You still get it, you can still pass it on. I'm of course of an age group at the moment that's not had anything. I'm a young pup.
No, I think that's the big thing, isn't it? With the relaxing of stuff, and these, on one day we're going to change again, and it's people are going to be allowed in houses and indoor pubs and all these sort of things. Is that people are forgetting that there's still a sort of bigger picture about it, isn't it? So, we're still trying to do as much as we can.
Matt's right about those.
So,
Matt's right about those vaccines. People say, "Oh, it's okay. I don't need to wear when I've got a vaccine." Yeah, that's protecting you. It's about protecting everyone else, isn't it? And I do think. Well, we're going to talk about it later, aren't we? I do think that things will start to change and the market will pick up in terms of that aspect of it.
Okay.
Shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, it definitely will. It definitely will. So, Matt, you wanted to just talk about how you can make changes to your house and why you should make them. But more importantly, how you can do it on a budget.
Yeah, to be honest, guys, I'm going to talk about how to be a penny pincher. There's nothing wrong with being a penny pincher, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Save as much money as you can. Spend money on the right things. Spend money on stuff that, So in regards to, I get so many people go and value the house, and they're like, oh, I should have replaced this, should have replaced that. I was going to change the kitchen before I sold it. I was going to do the bathroom. That personally, unless your kitchen is literally falling to bits and doors are falling off and it's really, really knackered, then yeah, change it. But here's an idea for you, and this goes out to any people buying a property as well, and anybody who's renting out a property. I mean, so many people who, and there's nothing wrong with Howden's kitchen, there's nothing wrong with B&Q Wicks's kitchen, nothing wrong with them. However, recently I was talking to a client probably about 3 weeks ago now, and he builds houses and everything, and he let me in on a little secret. He said, Matt, go on Google and type in buy an X-display kitchen. So I did. I thought, right, let's have a look. And anyway, you could get a kitchen that was roughly costing 15, 20 grand, anywhere from £1,000 to £5,000. So a fraction of the cost. Fraction of the cost. That is being a penny pincher. So rather than going buying a bog standard kitchen for around the same price, you are getting an X-display kitchen. Now, don't get me wrong, it's X-display, so it's been in a shop somewhere. However, they're only going to put the nice kitchens on display, aren't they? So there you go. There's one idea for you. Paint. I get so many people going, what kind of paint should I use? What should I do? To be honest, yes, some paints you do pay for what you get. If somebody said to me, Farrow and Ball paint, I think, crikey, I'm not, again, penny pinching, that's 50 quid. Just go and get a tin of Dulux. Or, better yet, here's a tip for you. I recently just painted all my hallway, landing, everything. And I was always a believer in Dulux. And somebody gave me a little tip saying, go to Wicks's own durable paint that's washable, £17 I think for a massive tub of it. Did my whole hallway, stairs, everything 2 times over. Saved myself 15 quid. 15 quid's 15 quid.
Well, this also goes back to something that we spoke about quite a few times during lockdown, which was about first impressions of your house. And the better the first impression you can give someone, the more they'll offer you for it. Essentially, the less they'll try and knock you down or anything like that. So it is important, and painting and is one that can be quite cheap if you go to places like Wicks and get their own brand stuff.
The thing is, what you're doing is you're doing it for appearances. If you like Matt, if you bought that house and you wanted that top quality paint, you'd go out there and you get it. But the bones of it is what we're doing, what we want to do, and what Matthew's point is to try and present your property so people don't pick up, that needs scuffed or that needs painting there. It's about the appearance and about the kitchen as well. You might want to put a 15 grand kitchen, and if you're lucky, if it was your own, but if you can get one, like you say, from Howden's for 15 for that, £1,000, 1,500 quid, it looks new, it does the purpose. That's it, and it takes away. It needs a new kitchen, because that's what people say. It needs a new kitchen. It's 10, 15 grand. It doesn't need a new kitchen. It's brand new. Same with the bathroom as well. So do it to sell it. Don't do it that you're going to live in it. Good point, man.
Yeah. Same goes with carpet though. Me and Kev were briefly touching on carpet. I've got a dog. Not that she's a messy dog or anything. A wrecked carpet. Same with cats. They thread carpet. But I get so many people go in. They've got pets and they go, probably need a new carpet there. The kids have dropped something on it. I'm like, could you lend a vax off somebody first to see if it'll clean up all right?
Yeah.
If you can, lend one. If not, look, everyone will change their own carpet. If your carpet's threadbare, and it needs replacing, get a quote to repair it. If the repair quote's nearly as much as getting new carpet, just get new carpet. As Howard rightly said, and as Kev pointed out, the better you make that property look, I think what people mainly look for, in my opinion, is a lifestyle cleanliness of house, which goes back to how your standard of living is. And you just people think, it's amazing how much, for example, first time buyer will walk in somewhere and think, I'm gonna have to paint this whole house, that's gonna cost me a fortune and time. And they are honestly, they think that's work. They think that is doing work on a house. They would think that is doing up a house.
Well, I think the big thing is that whatever your asking price is, you are giving people a list of things that they can knock. I think they can knock you down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you start at, let's say you start at 200,000 and you go, right, needs painting, needs carpets, kitchen doors are hanging off, bathroom panels knackered. It all starts getting a little psychological list, doesn't it? And you think, right,
yep.
Well, okay, I'm 200. I'm going to offer 185.
Yeah, it's tired, that house. It's tired of the house. I need to spend money on it.
190, yeah. Whereas if it's all nice and sharp, somebody comes in and goes, wow, this is all really good. They can't really justify not giving you the 200,000.
Yep.
Tell you what, Kevin, I'll tell you a little bit of a story. It wasn't actually with ourselves, but I kept an eye on this property. It was on the market. It was on the market at 200,000. It looked tatty. It looked knackered, honestly. And eventually, it sold for £170,000. This is near myself. The only thing that they did do it, okay, they went through. They put a new cheap kitchen in it, new cheap bathroom in it. Okay, put new turf to the floor. To the garden. It'd be quite strange if it was to the floor. and they put a dorm upstairs. The dorm upstairs is 10 grand. Let's say 10 grand. But it's just sold for 250. And there's not much difference to it, apart from what I've just said. Then it wouldn't have been the top of the range kitchen, top of the range bathroom. It wouldn't have been. And that's all they've done. New carpets, decorated, cheap electric fire on the wall.
Well, it's a mindset, isn't it? It's an appearance, and it's a mindset and a thought process, and negatives always outweigh positives.
Yeah. Well, I know that, yeah.
So you've got to have
And
twice
that's
as
it.
many.
Do you know what?
And that applies for rental properties. For landlords out there, and tenants. The same thing applies. The nicer your rental property, the more likely that you're going to get a higher rent, and people look after it better. That generally
you only get one opportunity for rental, for sale, for appearance. I went to a property yesterday without mentioning it, and I, as the estate agent, I was saying to Kevin this morning, I had a brush. I was brushing his driveway, all the leaves and everything. I was tidying up his bathroom, his kitchen, everything you could think of, to take the photographs to make it present better. And the chap, lovely guy, just said, I didn't know that would bother too much. That, well, it does, because that's the chance. Yeah. And I dare say 99% of estate agents wouldn't take the time to do that, because it probably added on an extra 45 minutes, an hour to my appointment there. But we understand the importance of it. You get one opportunity to make that great impression. And it might be, someone might just sit on the internet, hey Matt, and drive past, and it's crap all over the driveway, there's bins all over the place, it's unsightly should I say. It's just that appearance, isn't it, Kev?
And that could be the difference between, as I say, getting an offer at your asking price and agreeing at $2,000 below it. It's something as simple as just that appearance. It could even be more. I was
going to say, for what you just said before, it wouldn't be $2,000. People would be probably $15,000 less coming in, offering in. But good point, then, Matt.
It's a great point, that, and
Matthews, you're going to spend a couple of weekends there, Matt. You've offered to paint people's houses out there with.
I was about to say that. Matt's going to come round and decorate. He's going to wax your carpet for you if you need him to.
He's got the.
Hey, whoa! It's not free. I'm biggest penny pincher out of them all, so they can pay me a few quid, like.
Oh, I'm sure. No doubt they will.
Brilliant, Matt. Cheers, thank you. And Howard, first-time buyers. You're talking to
first-time buyers, right? I'll tell you what. Definitely impressing as well, but we've seen an uptake in first-time buyers buying property. And I know we've got the added thing of the the new mortgage that has come out that the government helping with, the 95%, which is going to help. But when I'm talking to people as well, these first-time buyers, they're not actually relying, like I said before when we had a chat before, Kevin, about the bank of, to coin a phrase, mum and dad, because of the lockdown, because of the coronavirus, they've not been able to go abroad. They've not been able to go out and buy big consumer things. They've not been able to go to the pub and restaurants, so spending all that money. So we're a year in now, so they've saved that amount of money. Whereas if you are looking at before, if you go back to 2016, I think it was 29% of first-time buyers saved their own deposit. Okay, today, as a survey was done as of yesterday, it's 43%. So they're not reliant on parents, they're not reliant on anything else. So because of the interest rate being quite down as well, if they don't take advantage of that 5% deposit, they're going at 10-15% deposit, they will get better deals as well. And I think that's obviously an uptake of it. So to be honest with you, all it does is it puts more people with a smile on their face, to be perfectly honest with you. And I don't know, are you seeing that? I should imagine you are doing. You're seeing that in Lancaster and Morecambe, I dare say.
Yeah. First-time buyers. More first-time buyers flooding in, definitely.
Massively.
Yeah, I mean, so they've got more of a deposit, because I remember when you were talking to people, how much deposit have you got? And when you start saying to them, if it's 5%, it's 10%, they don't always understand what you're actually saying. So when they're actually saying to you, for example, they're buying a house at £170,000, and you say, have you got 10% or 17 grand? No. I'm saying, how much deposit have you got down? Between 35 and 40%, what, 40 grand, should I say? So that's, it's a hell of a lot more than what you anticipate. So I'm noticing that when I'm talking to people, and also the first-time buyer's price range is a lot higher.
Well, it is great to hear that, because first-time buyers essentially drive the rest of the market. So the more first-time buyers that buy at the entry-level prices, the more people can move up a house, and it just keeps everything moving around.
Within that article I was reading, one thing that, which is to do with it's to do with the market as well, is what the research showed. Whereas a lot of the younger people, when they were buying properties, they want it to be more centralised, like in a town or near pubs, near cafes, and that was linked to not necessarily going out, entertaining, drinking, partying. So it was actually linked more to the going to an internet cafe and doing something like that. But because of and it improves all the time, doesn't it? The Wi-Fi signal, apart from in my house, the Wi-Fi signals improve all the time. So what they're finding now, this survey, is that first-time buyers are actually going more semi-rural kind of locations as well. So that was intrigue. That's interesting.
Good. No, first-time buyers, great to hear that. Great to hear that they are coming in. And you're right, rates are there for everybody actually. So you mentioned interest rates being low. Interest rates are still low, and will probably continue to be that way for majority of this year, I dare say. Before they start whacking them back up again, I would imagine we'll get fully out of lockdown before the Bank of England starts raising.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
raising that price. Cheers, pal. So the last thing we just wanted to touch on was the housing market in general, and what's been happening. Obviously, we've been talking a lot this year that demand has been outstripping supply by a lot, considerably, a huge amount difference than has been selling than what's been coming onto the market. Now, has that changed? At this moment in time, no.
No, I wouldn't have thought so.
Is the short answer. So there is still more demand. Still both the Preston and Lancaster markets are selling more than is coming to the market. However, there is a little caveat to that. We have seen a huge upturn in people since the start of May interested in having the house valued and understanding what the value of that house and expressing an interest to move. I think we've probably doubled the amount of people who were asking for those in the last couple of weeks, and there has been for any 2-week period earlier in the year, which shows a sign that there is a bit of confidence come back in there. Now, I do wonder if it's a little bit to do with what's happening on Monday. Obviously, lockdown is easing slightly, and we can go back into places. And I just wonder if that is giving people the confidence that they're happy to have people in the house a little bit to sort of show them round at safe distances. With obviously vendors going out, windows still being open, all those sort of things. What's your guys' feeling on it? What do you think is going to happen as we go forward?
I think that's it, and I think we're seeing that already. That people are starting to. I think that's what's come down to me having more people to go viewings this week. I think people are thinking, well, actually, let's get out, going viewing, and like I mentioned then, it's up to us to remind them about wearing masks and so forth. So I think people's mindset has already changed to that. And I do think possibly more of the elderly people who think they were thinking of moving, but they didn't want anyone coming inside the homes, might think, well, actually now might be a good time to put houses on the market. It's becoming better weather. The restrictions are being lifted to a degree, so this might be a good time. So I do think possibly you'll see the people then who've been a bit more cautious put the house on the market, and or at least getting evaluations and speaking to the estate agents and seeing what's actually happening out there. What are our thoughts on it? And I have spoken to a couple of people in connection with something similar to that, and it's all positive. And I suppose you'll have the same train of thought with you, Matt, or thereabouts.
I think for me, it's. I think a lot of people haven't forgot. They know exactly what's going on. And do you know what? It's some collective. It's bloody good news, isn't it? Because it's been so depressing to have been through all this. And do you know what? It's a pleasure to take people around the house. Honestly, don't get me wrong. I love doing it. Virtual was easy as well. It was great. It was convenient for people. But people love coming to see a house. People love interacting with an estate agent. And I think people... I get the amount of people that come to me and go, oh, I bet you watch Place in the Sun, bet you watch Homeless Under Hammer. I go, yeah, I watch Place in the Sun because I do want to move abroad. The weather's great, not like this. Don't watch Homeless Under the Hammer because everybody, as soon as you mention Orchard, thinks that's it. But that's part of, again, it's part of life. And I think it's great to see retail back open and people are about. People still know something's about. You do get the odd person who just dilly-dallies everywhere, no mask on and whatever. But I think it's something positive to look forward to, and I think as long as everyone remains cautious and thinks there is something still there, but let's not be stupid, you know. And people love going out to a house. I'll be honest, I've been valuing houses, right? And there are some agents who still will not go out and value a house unless they do, you know, they'll only do virtual. And I think, you know, if you've got the opportunity and they're happy for you to go out in person, go and see them. Go and interact with people, because then they sound you out as an agent, you sound them out. And to be fair, you know, it's not like every house is, especially, I don't know about you, but around here we've got a lot of listed houses as well and a lot of old ones. They're very hard to virtually value unless you go out to them. But I think, as you said, overall it's positive. It is. There's always going to be positive news coming out of this mark, and being able, you know, people being able to see each other, you know, family coming around, and again, it's not being stupid. That for me, and that'll encourage a lot of buyers, because, you know, first-time buyers will be sat with parents and be like, hey, time to get a place of your own now. I'm fed up of you living here. You've lived here for the whole lockdown. My food bill's gone up £200 a month because you're a fat git. I'm probably talking from experience there about me, because our food bill probably has gone up just by me living here. But you know what I'm saying, don't you, lads? I think it's all positive. A lot more people are smiling. It's great to see people talking to each other, not being scared.
Well, I agree that bit is the interaction of seeing people and speaking to people and having a laugh with people and taking a mick out of your mates, and, you know, all of that sort of thing is. You can just see that people have missed that a hell of a lot. But in terms of the market, we're almost at a little bit of a stalemate, aren't we? With people, there's so much demand for buying a house that stock levels are low. So people have been cautious trying to put the house on the market because they're like, well, I can't find anything because everything's selling. So then you're sort of stuck in a bit because they can't buy without selling, but they can't sell without finding somewhere to buy. So you're sort of stuck. So hopefully. It'll sort of ease that a little bit and can help get people.
I think it will.
Can I just interject one random thing? Sorry to interrupt you, Howard. Going on to that and people coming positive, and you were on about the older generation before. 100% last year, I definitely found anybody probably over the age of 60, I was hardly going to value any of their houses, hardly any people viewing houses. Obviously, the vaccines help with that because they're now coming out. But I've got a client desperate for a bungalow. Right, and it still shows that the older people might be a bit sceptical, or they might be staying put. Do you know how many bungalows were for sale in LA1 when I searched 2 days ago? Not even just our stock, other agents.
Bungalows,
specifically bungalows.
None.
8.
Oh, 8 more than what I thought.
8. And then I typed in the sold ones. There was 21 in total, including the 8.
Bungalows.
So I don't. Is that a reason why maybe the older generation aren't moving? So therefore, the people wanting to downsize from their big house where the families are moving to, is that because we've remained busy on that side, but probably not. You know, we need more stock like that. But obviously, you need all the train to keep moving along, don't you? That's the thing.
I thought there might be more bungalows available with this COVID lark.
Nope, none. Mate, I have been to value maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could probably count on one hand how many bungalows I've been to.
Hopefully, the vaccine's going to give everyone confidence as well, isn't it? You know, what are we on?
This is it.
30 odd million first doses and humongous amounts of second doses now as well. And,
you've not had one. You're not having one, are you, Kev?
I've not had mine yet. Not been even offered it yet. To be fair, I'm not there. So
see, I've had friends of mine who are obviously a bit younger than you, Kev. Although I probably don't look it. Hard paper round, as they always say. They've been given it, and of course Mr. Johnson is on at 5 o'clock today, by the way, anybody watching this, because he's talking about this new variant, and I imagine what they're going to do is probably try again and speed up that process, so that's going to give people a bit more confidence again, I like to think.
Well, I think he's going to be talking about this this Indian variant and the fact that everyone's got to be a lot careful.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, there is that, and I think that's why they'll speed up the vaccine.
He is also going to flag us up. He is also going to say, listen to Lancaster Estates, you know, guys, they know what they're saying. Top government advisor Howard Roberts pops out here in Downing Street.
Who's the first person, Matt? Are you going to hug on Monday? You can hug someone on Monday, apparently.
Well, of course, because we've now had a baby, I can actually bubble up with my mum. So I've already seen my mum, of course. I've not necessarily hugged her.
Oh,
I'm
well, you
probably
need to be doing that.
I'm probably not a massively huggy person, as you can tell. I'm quite a big lad, so I was a rugby player. So when I probably hug people, it probably hurts, if anything. Do
Don't
you know
flatter
what, mate?
yourself,
I'll be
Matt.
honest. I'm going to be honest. My grandma lives up in Scotland. Her and like he's basically my granddad Bob, and they haven't really seen anybody. I mean, for months. My grandma's not really left, and she's coming down next week, bless her, because she's not met my daughter yet. And although I'll hug my mum, I'm going to give my grandma the biggest hug ever and say like, because obviously she's been locked up in Scotland. I've only been able to FaceTime her. Whereas at least my mum, I've seen her, so it'd be great. And I'm looking forward to it.
Have you never been round to your mum's house?
Yeah, I've been round my mum's house. Yeah,
Right.
can now.
Okay.
Bubbled up.
Okay, well, hopefully that'll be the story for a lot of people that'll be able to do a bit more. But I suppose the message will be cautious. But let's see what Boris has to say, and let's hope it does breed some confidence into the market from Monday.
Yeah. This is where we see a video of Howard in Preston hugging everybody. Come
Yeah,
here, you. Come here.
Oh, well, there's only a couple of people I'd hug.
We're here to help, and maybe Howard's here to hug.
Yeah.
I'm not
Spreading the love, man. Spreading the love.
Right, okay, guys. We'll see you later. We'll catch you again in a couple of weeks. And I say, if you've got any questions about today, drop us a message, and we are here to help, and we'll try and find you somewhere, try and get you moved. But for now, have a nice weekend. We'll
Adios, guys.
catch you
Buenas
soon.
noches. Goodbye. Have a good
Bye.
weekend.